I am Babla Jonathan, and this is the 6 p.m. prime time newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. In our top stories in this edition of the news, 2 persons have died in a road accident in the southwest region of the country. The accident occurred on the Limbe-Mutengene stretch of road. And a writer and politician in the Republic of Cameroon, Professor Charlie Gabriel Mbok, says guns must go down for any peace to return in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. He was speaking on La Vérité en Face yesterday. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us in this edition of the news. We begin this newscast in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, where 2 persons have been confirmed dead following a road accident which occurred on the Limbe-Mutengene stretch of road. And according to witnesses, a private car whose occupants were returning to Douala after spending the weekend in Limbe came into a collision with an interurban bus heading to Limbe from Mutengene, and the 2 persons died on the spot, while several others were rushed to the hospital for medical attention. Now take a listen to a medical expert who explains with more details.
At the early hour of the morning, 6:30 a.m., we received a case of mass casualty at Moliwe Road. We have a total casualties cases. It was 10 of them. Out of the 10 cases that we received, 7 were mild injury, minor bruises and laceration that they were seen as an outpatient and placed on analgesic. They all went home. Then the 3 cases that was remaining, we admitted all of them in the wards. Out of those 3 cases, we have 2 fractures of the neck and then 1 skull fracture. Both of them were seen and then will be taken to the theater for operation. Then for the dead cases, it is alleged that 5 died, but officially 2 were brought here to us at Limbe Regional Hospital. Due to lack of space, we have to transfer those 2 to the Tiku mortuary. The rest of the 3 cases that are in the ward, they are stable and in good state. So we hope that there's a good prognosis for them.
That was Dr. Zikoro of the Limbe Regional Hospital speaking there. Now to the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Soldiers who carried out the 5-day operation in Awing and Pinyin say they killed not less than 15 separatist fighters and destroyed their camps. The 5th Military Region Commander General Kavale says this comes after the separatists have been attacking persons in that part of the country. And Stella now finds in details from Bamenda.
Action work on the Bamenda section of the Bamenda-Babaju stretch of road is yet to commence. The delay has been blamed on insecurity due to the socio-political and security crisis in the northwest region. The stretch of road has been a nightmare to users. Passengers spend at least 2 hours on a distance of about 20 kilometers from Bamenda to Matazem. Drivers spend long hours and money in garages after a trip, while farm produce get robbed before reaching their destinations. On July 4, 2020, a truck transporting brewery products for distribution in Bamenda was burnt and videos posted on the social media. On July 11th, a police constable was shot dead and 6 others wounded during an ambush on a mixed patrol team. Also, an attempted attack on the Bamendankwe Brigade was pushed back on July 12, 2020. These happenings and more were the reasons for the 4 days operation aimed at leveling the ground for the construction of the Bamenda section of the main road linking the northwest region to the rest of Cameroon.
We decided to launch that 5-day cleanup operation to clean the localities bordering the main supply road. And I think it's part of mission to reassure the people who are going to build the road that they are not kicked up, that they are not attacked by the Amazonians. And then we have patrols day and night on the road from Bamenda to Matazem, to make sure that the road is very tough to ride on, is safe.
Between July 14th and 19, 2020, these J3 rifles, similar to what security forces have been using, bags of marijuana, motorbikes, gas cylinders, and other items for the manufacturing of explosive devices, cattle, and many more are stuffs recovered from the fighters in Awing and Pinyin. The team's leader, Colonel Mattia Shalalen, says they killed at least 15 fighters, including Ambazonian General Okoro, and destroyed camps in Pinyin and Awing.
In this matter, Mbustela reporting there from the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and gendarme officials in the southwest region of the country, notably in the Fako division, are urging the population to collaborate with them in order to help in the struggle to kick out insecurity from that administrative unit. And the Fako Gendarmerie Brigade commander or company commander Hafat Michel Joel was speaking over the weekend while presenting some contraband goods seized from some illegal traders. Davidson Maimo reports.
With firm instruction from hierarchy, the police, defense, and every security unit in the northwest and southwest regions are on very high alert to crack down banditry, armed robbery, illegal importation of contraband goods, especially drugs, and most importantly, put an end to separatist activities within these two regions. Security sources say most of the drugs imported illegally are being used by separatist fighters to treat themselves in the bushes and in their hideout after confrontation with defense and security forces. Drugs such as Tramor and others, our sources say, are what the separatist fighters use, which increase the adrenaline, giving them the impetus to confront defense and security forces in battles, and equally help in killing innocent civilians without any remorse, presumed to be sellout, better known to them as blacklegs and enablers. As part of the activity engaged by the defense and security forces, the National Gendarmerie Company in Fako Division with intelligence stormed a warehouse, seizing more than 1,500 kilograms of illegally imported non-biodegradable plastic papers and a huge consignment of cartons of illegally imported drugs. The Gendarmerie Company commander for Fako, Hefat Michael Joel, say during the operation, both the owner of the magazine and of the consignment disappeared into thin air.
There was not people. We sit inside a magazine. See, today we never receive people here to that come and claim about. The investigations are going on.
The commander, however, reassured the populace of Fako Division to have trust in the defense and security forces.
Work with our population because we have to protect them and protect their goods. Very important for us.
The non-biodegradable plastic papers were destroyed in front of the Gendarmerie Company. Ekwenge Mercy is the divisional delegate for environment and the protection of nature for Fako.
When we destroy them, we hand them over to a recycling company. So why they are banned is because they are a nuisance to the environment and to the health of animals and humans.
The drugs were later transported to a site to be burned in strict appliance of standard regulations by medics. Southwest authorities say the days of those involved in illegal importation of contraband goods, separatist activities within the region are numbered.
And the ghost town is still respected in several parts of the two Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon. In Kumba today, streets were deserted as a result of the traditional ghost town imposed by separatist fighters within the context of the close to 4-year-long Anglophone crisis. However, some students braved the arts and the security challenges today to take part in the practical part of the General Certificate of Education GCE Ordinary and Advanced levels that started today, and on supervision tour to some centers hosting the practicals of the examination. The divisional delegate for secondary education says everything went on hit-free, with the only challenge being the ghost town. Abuno Agims spoke to our correspondent in Kumba. Take a listen.
As you can see for yourself, we went around together. The centers are running the exams each free in GBHS Kumba Station, which is a multiple accommodation center. It's accommodating CAPIET, CAPIEM, and GCE A-level practicals in many subjects. For example, food science, chemistry, biology, and the others. Then tomorrow we shall be beginning with the Francophone subsystem with back general. I understand that as at today we have less than 3 absences. Of the number of candidates which are supposed to be for the exams today, almost all are present. The security challenges have been surmounted by the assistance from the SDO and security agencies with the provision of security elements. They are notwithstanding. The candidates, I'm sure, had some difficulties because imagine a candidate who is living in far off Kosala and beyond, who has to do everything possible to sleep somewhere around the examination center. That alone tells you that he or she must have surmounted some difficulties.
The Meme Divisional Delegate of Secondary Education speaking there. And a politician and writer in Cameroon, Professor Charlie Gabriel Mbok, says that guns must go down in the two Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon for peace and normalcy to return. In the meantime, he thinks that politicians, notably those of the opposition, have to unite their efforts in order to achieve a change not only in the northwest and southwest regions but across the country globally. And he thinks that some concepts like political transition projected by some political parties must be well defined for others to join in the same line of action in order to bring change in the country. He was speaking to La Verite en Face on Equinoxe Television yesterday. Take a listen.
Sometimes use slogans, and I don't think negative slogans are not workable. Positive ones are. What do you want? Transition, how? The methodology may help everybody understand what it means. I think all Cameroonians want to change, want transition. To what? To what? We have to carve out the destination, maybe before starting the trip. And that's why I think it's important to organize that political ecumenism, for them to learn, talking to one another, sharing views, regardless of the self. Whatever the situation, all of us, we are fighting for a different nation, a different Cameroon. If it is the goal, then organizing an approach which helped me discover who you are, learn from you, and tell you who I am, for you maybe to learn something from me. I think it's the way out. Imagine a country of, let's say, 25 million of people. We have, let's say, 300 political parties. It's a fake. It is nonsense.
And another one was launched, I think, last week in Yaoundé.
You know, it's just a trick. We have, you know, it's a pit we fell into. Our country cannot have. We have big guns who want to do something for the nation. My hope, my personal dream is to see them talk to one another. Start talking to one another. To bring together different ideas, shake them, maybe something will pop out of it.
Some of them have been talking already, but there is a point of disagreement. Who to stand behind who? Who to rally behind who?
No, but it's a problem
Everybody wants to be at the front line.
Now, you cannot blame a political leader to fight for the first position. Now it's up to organize a kind of
box speaking there, and we also asked him why the vision of communal liberalism is not implemented, has not been implemented in Cameroon, and he says that the president of the republic is the major stumbling block because he is the one who is in charge of implementing that vision. But after all the work that was done and the book compiled, nothing has been taken out of that book and implemented in Cameroon for the past decades. Take a listen. Implementation of the vision of communal liberalism in Cameroon. And you said that those who actually resisted are those who were supposed to implement. And the head of state was and is still the captain of that boat, communal liberalism. Are you saying that he refused to take the boat to its destination?
You got it. You got it, man.
How did he refuse?
Did you ever... Can you tell me when the head of state mentioned that book in any of his speeches? Never. He never mentioned that book. He never referred to this and that relating to that book. You got the answer.
And when we listen to what you're saying now, we're tempted to ask, was he aware of the content of this book? Was he aware of all the work that was being done by you and other people, putting together the different ideas, theories, and so on, building up this book and this vision? Was he aware about it?
Yes.
Was he in agreement with what you people were doing?
He even sponsored the work because members of his government were committed. You know, when I am talking of that colloquium which was supposed to take place. Members of government were part of that game. I mentioned some papers, some presentations which were supposed to be delivered by members of government. You are a member of government appointed by the head of state. Are you getting me now? It means that the head of state is aware of what he intends to do. But again, intending is one thing. Implementing is another one. He's in a better position to tell people why he became reluctant to what he first promoted. Once you have been educated in a certain way of ruling, you might not be in a hurry to change the way you rule the people. If you have been educated to hushing people down, you hush them down. Nobody have no opportunity to have a say. Yet Cameroonians were trying, you know, they were striving, not only trying, but striving to have their say on national issues. And they were vocal about certain issues. They wanted to speak their mind out. And this was difficult for some people.
What's some of those people who were crushing Cameroonians down at that time?
No, but it is clear, you are in power, you have the power to crush people.
The 106 lawyers recently sworn into the Cameroon Bar Association have been urged to fight for the rights of the people, Cameroonians, especially those in the northwest and southwest regions of the country whose rights have been abused and violated on a daily basis. They were sworn in over the weekend at the FACO Court of Appeal in Boya. Derek Jato reports.
My beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable. What I've seen in him.
I, Tara Aga Christopher, swear as an advocate
before Justice Bechem Enaka, Chief Justice of the Southwest Region,
106 lawyers are being sworn in into the Cameroon bar. To many here, it is a dream come true.
Yes, it has been a long journey for those who know me very well. And today I can boldly be proud that I am a member of the Cameroon Bar Association. I'm very, very happy because we have been waiting for this day.
And they know that the Cameroon Bar expect much from them.
Well, I promise the bar to actually respect the oath because we have the duty as servants of justice.
Baptized after late barrister Bernard Muna, the people's bâtonnier, Senior Barrister John Kamani reminded these newly sworn-in lawyers to swing into action immediately and take back the right of the citizens, especially those in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
Human rights have been violated in all its forms. In fact, when you look at the English-speaking region of Cameroon, you realize that at the level of prosecution, justice has been so misused and taken for granted. I think this is the proper use of the lawyer to make sure that the population is protected against such gangsterism.
And all unfolded in the presence of Barrister Chakunte Patie Charles, the Cameroon Bar President.
I'm very, very pleased to witness this event, but I'm also very sad because the real father of this batch, Bernard Muna, the real father of this batch, Barrister Sama Sanga Francis, passed away some few weeks ago.
The bâtonnier also remembered some fallen heroes in the profession. To Barrister Eno Benjamin, the president of Faculty Lawyers Association, and as host of the ceremony, the day was satisfactory.
A ceremony that we've been planning for over a month, and you can see how smooth it was, thanks to the assistance of all the protocol.
And as these lawyers go home celebrating, next time they will be appearing back in court will be in their full ranks as counsel for the defense, or as legal advisors in due respect to the court and tribunals and to the laws of the Republic.
Coming up, we're going to show you the horrible state of the National Road number 16. In the report by Innocent Azi, he takes us through the section of the road linking Lum in the littoral region and Mundemba in the southwest region. His report.
16, as they are calling it, just for name. We are having all poto.
This is how traveling on the National Road number 16, notably from Lum in the Mungo Division, Littoral Region to Kumba in the Meme Division, Southwest Region of President Paul Biya's country is. Pains endured by road users for many years.
Since as I know this road, it did in 1952.
I know this road since 1952. It was tarred and circulation was very flexible.
But since I saw the road comes, it can't spoil everything, all business, everything down.
Since existence of the current regime, this Lum Kumba road has been a shadow of itself.
The vehicles that were passing through this way, they are no more passing again. They are passing but Lum, Douala, Boya to Kumba. That's how the vehicles are passing. Instead taking but the long road instead of this shortcut.
Road users now fear to venture on it.
Kumba will take me 30 minutes, but now even 3 hours, we don't have ready for Kumba. It's about 11 years we have not yet passed into that road, so the road is too bad. There's too much more. The partner will be suffering too much to pass that the road.
Now, even in locks, they cannot even pass through the road again because the road is too bad.
Motorbike transportation remains the most suitable and desirable along this length of the National Road number 16.
There's nothing like a vehicle. Where will you say vehicle? Even have a cough, only bike. Yeah, why want to deliver? Only bike. Anything here, our own vehicle that we have here is bike.
Transport fare has multiplied at an alarming rate.
At first, when the road was good, we were paying 500 francs a tamblum. But now it's 4,000, 5,000.
First time, Komo Kumba, go Ebonji, been at 1,500. For Komo Kumba, go Tombe, been at 2,000. For Komo Kumba, go Lum, been at 3,000, 3,500. But now, Kumba, Ebonji, 4,000. Kumba Tombe, 5,000. Kumba loom 6,000. So they make a plenty punch and they find it very difficult to travel through this road.
As a consequence, they, motorbike riders, cannot harvest enough income.
And now we don't kind of now they lack work. And most passengers they go there around now, we find it very difficult to feed our house and take care for our needs.
Business activities have equally been crippled by this phenomenon.
When road is passing, it's bringing more development. People travel, we sell, businesses, every place is booming. But now, no way. At first, businesses were moving slowly and was moving well. Everybody enjoyed to do business. But now we cannot do business now again because there's no way, no movement. Everything is down. As I'm even making this my chicken, I was at times making about 10 chicken per day, 8 or 9. But now I'm not even able to sell 2. Even on market days, at like Saturdays like this, I'm unable to sell 2.
Principal challenges of this sick road are farmers who at all costs needs to evacuate their farm produce from their farms to markets.
There's no way. More than 10 years we haven't seen the caterpillar to grade the road. This is not. Here you cannot do anything. We have food, we have plantain, we have cocoa, we have everything, but we cannot bring them out from the village to the town.
These exasperated Cameroonians implore the Yaoundé government to scrupulously come to their aid. That is, ensure reconstruction of this Loum-Kumba stretch of road so as to relieve road users, revamp business and farming activities.
Roads in many parts of Anglophone Cameroon and the rest of the country are in that state. Now we wrap up the first part of this newscast on a sad note. The late president of the Apostolic Church of Cameroon, Apostle John Egbe Eno, has been laid to rest. His funeral started at the Apostolic Cathedral in the town of Kumba, in the southwest region of the country, and later continued in his native Bakebe village in the Manyo division of the southwest region of the country, where the man of God was laid to rest. And of course, like in Kumba and in Bakebe, Christians, church officials, leaders converge in their great numbers amid tight security during the burial ceremony of late Apostle John Egbe Eno, who was the president of the Apostolic Church. He died following ill health in the southwest region of the country, and he was laid to rest in his native Bakebe village in the Manyo division over the weekend. Now we talk to some pastors and Christians of the church, and this is what they had to say concerning the late man of God.
Be steadfast, unmovable. What I've seen in him is that a man sincere in his word. What he says is what he will perform. And he does not compromise. And he has shaken every area to see that the church should get a balance socially, a balance economically, and a balance spiritually.
There are a lot of good things that I discovered in him, not even late. Since I was in graduate college, I discovered that he's not a man who is easily influenced by people's opinions.
That's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. We are receiving a politician. Fabrice Lena is the new Secretary General of the Popular Action Party. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Sir Babila. It is an honor for me to be your guest this evening.
From National Communications Secretary to the Secretary General, how did the move occur?
Yeah, it's actually a a difficult situation that we are in Cameroon today. You know, to survive dictatorship requires a lot of strength and courage, and as a young person, I am struggling to dare to create, to do what others are not capable of doing. I think that is what has been able to drive me from the communication secretary to the national secretary general of the Popular Action Party, and I'm willing within my capacity to make sure that we provide solutions to the problems that are affecting youth in Cameroon and the nation as a whole.
As a young person in political terrain, which is quite difficult, as you indicated earlier, to an extent very slippery, is it easy for you to take up that challenge to be the Secretary General of an opposition political party in Cameroon at this point?
Well, that is what most people have been like asking me, and sometimes I myself, I find it difficult, but I think that it is these challenges that makes us stronger, is these challenges that makes us to be able to do something extraordinary, to be creative, to challenge our mind, to come up with things that others have been unable, and to also challenge this notion that people have about youth and politics. Because in Cameroon there is this tendency that when youth or very young persons want to participate or take positions in politics, they will discourage you, saying it's for the old, it's not for the youth, and so on. I think those notions are false, and everybody in the working age group is capable of being excellent in his or her domain and field, and even a high leadership position, if you have those values that are required in that field and you respect them as well.
Opposition politicians in the Republic of Cameroon have constantly been facing repression, and some arrested and detained and so on and so forth. Are you not afraid to be?
I have been a victim of such repression. I think last year 2019, before the release of Prof. Kamto and allies, I had been one of those persons that organized youth under the banner of Stand Up for Cameroon and Popular Action Party to go and support them during their trials at the military tribunal, and I was arrested as part of the people that came out for his support, and detained for about 6 hours, and I've also been questioned in set several times. So I think that all this builds me up and makes me to really understand my country and understand the incompetence of the government in place, because in each of the process I realize how the authorities in place are really incapable of bringing out facts to even justify the accusations that each time they levy on opposition politicians, simply because they are unable to do their job properly, and we come out to say no, it's not the right way to do things, and we have to stand to talk on the behalf of the people that cannot talk.
What is the driving force behind Fabrice Lena in the political arena, where most of the main actors, I want to call it, say it that way?
Yeah. It is the first of all, I have passion for politics and humanitarian actions, and I also have passion for justice. And I think that the system of education and the society that we grow in train me to become such a person that cries when I see children and other people cry. So that driving force is just love for justice, love for peace, love for a humanitarian society, love for that community life where a neighbor used to cook a food, come and knock the door and say, oh, I prepared, there's no need for you preparing lunch again, let's eat together. That community where there is trust and confidence for us to live in peace. Growing in this society where we are seeing youth divided, youth being misinformed, seeing that we have no hope because of the government that had stayed long in power, and an elitist old people who don't want to accompany the youth to realize the vision of the Android generation and the 21st century task force society that is made up of a lot of innovative ideas that most of the people that schooled in the 19th and 20th century might not adapt to the present way of life. So these revolutionary ideas are necessary for someone to stand in front and carry them forth.
And you certainly want to bring solutions to some of the problems affecting the country. In this newscast, we saw the national road number 16. When you look at that state, the state of that road, What do you think?
Well, I would like to say that, Mr. Babila, it is really a very sad situation in our country that I don't know the kind of human beings that are at the helm of this country, because it's so sad to see that all the sectors of the country are affected and corrupt, from the leadership of public service activities right up to every sector, politics, economics, religion. Every sector has been corrupted by the government, for the simple fact that some people just think that leadership is for them to enrich themselves, and they don't care. I want to say that there is this particular aspect where the people in Yaoundé think if they are comfortable, the whole country is comfortable. You can just imagine a father in such a village capable of producing plantain, capable of producing cocoa, capable of producing all these food items, but unable to take them to the market in order to have income to pay the school fees of the children, or better still have basic commodities in 21st century society. At least this is what will make the other continents to laugh at Africa, because of the kind of leadership we have. It's not as if we don't have the resources, but it's a matter of laxity, a matter of corruption, a matter of bad faith of people who don't want to help others to grow, a matter of egoism. And this is the characteristics of the government in place all this long. What have the Cameroonian people done to these people to deserve this bondage and punishment for this very long time?
Is it just
I would say that the nature of this is just segments of what you're seeing, because the nature of the roots in the whole national territory of Cameroon, especially in the northwest and southwest, and in some other parts of the country that I have traveled to, is really so bad. And it does not only end in roots. When you go to dams, I since in secondary school, when I was growing, I started hearing the Memvele, the Songlulu, and all the other dams that are existing, the Menchu Falls that could generate electricity for even the whole of West and Central Africa. None of this project had ever been realized. Is that how we will construct a country of which, for us to reach at economic growth or prosperity, there must first of all be the construction and maintenance of these capital assets and capital goods, which has to do with roads, which has to do with these dams, which has to do with these markets.
Is it just a problem of management? Is it just a problem of management, poor governance?
It is a combination of poor governance, which is the principal factor here. Poor governance, mismanagement, corruption, and then what we call vices that those people exercise, because there are individuals that have decided to go out of the system because they realize that they are unable to do the things that they promise the people, and it is the nature, the design of the system that has not permitted them to offer to the people what they promised them. So they decided to go out and criticize, and that is the birth of most of the radical opposition and men of integrity that are existing in Cameroon today. Because when given a position in Cameroon, perhaps you will want to do the things that you've promised the people to do, but the system in place where you are being instructed, high instruction of the presidency, high instruction of Mr. Minister, or high instruction of Mr. Delegate to do as he wants, becomes the main obstacle for most of the people that will want to do the right thing, to be unable to perform their functions rightly in this
besides
country.
the underdevelopment challenges, there are security challenges that are affecting the country and threatening to tear the country apart. The northwest and southwest regions have been in crisis, in a armed conflict for close to 4 years today. And Professor Charlie Gabriel Bock says guns must go down. If there must be peace, if there must be normalcy in those two regions, guns must go down.
I want to say this very clearly, and this message is going to the authorities in Yaoundé and those that think that Cameroon is their property, that if they will not consider enforcing ceasefire for this Anglophone crisis at this stage where we are, 2020, after 4 years, probably Cameroon is going to separate in the long run. This is because we have observed throughout history in Africa and in other continents the persistence of a government to keep a country one and indivisible, but doing contrary to the propagation of what they are preaching. You cannot insist that the territorial integrity of Cameroon is not negotiable. At the same time, you are unable to find or accept solutions that people are proposing that could simply end the crisis. There is a problem of bad faith and incompetence at the level of our government. I will always want to exonerate the separatists because they are non-state armed groups, uncoordinated and functioning in such a way that their response is based on what the government is saying.
But the government, the President of the Republic and other government authorities have been saying and have been taking measures all along to restore normalcy in those two regions to solve the problem.
Mr. Abadila, is there normalcy?
And the President of the Republic have been saying, you carrying guns in the bushes, drop your guns, and then we can now discuss and go forward and so on. At the same time, there is a military crackdown that is going on. So
this is the problem of Cameroon. You know, we always like to come to TV or make some kind of a lot of propaganda about people dropping their guns. There is a methodology to follow. If you want the people to drop their gun, there are men of integrity in Cameroon that you need to send them to go and discuss with these guys abroad, discuss with those at home, bring reports of exactly what they want. There are men of integrity that could meet with the government. We have former presidents like JJ Rolin, like Paul Kagame. We have men of integrity here in Cameroon that could discuss with the two groups, bring reports, and these reports will be made public. They decide on the place, neutral ground out of Cameroon, probably in an African country or European country or America, where they can go and sit representatives of the two sides, revisit the 1961 constitution, examine the aspects of deceit from the government that has been put in place, which has been manipulated by France, in order to redress the problems, apologize to the Southern Cameroonians.
What has your party been doing?
And solve the problem.
What has your party been doing?
The Population Party is playing the facilitation role of mediating, helping to mediate, to discuss that the violence begets violence, and it will never solve the suffering problem and conditions of the people of Northwest and Southwest. It will escalate them. Rather, what we are proposing is to meet these opinion leaders and people of integrity that could help, as of now, discuss with the separatist forces and government forces on how to, first of all, accept this concept of ceasefire. It is very, very primordial now. The more it stays, the more there's probability for the countries to part ways. More pain is growing in the heart of people when guns are still going on. When I see the actions in Pinyin, in Awin, I think that the government is not yet ready for any action, and I cry because we don't have that authority to take this decision. They have. Why should they begin to subjugate people to such indignation when they have the ability to solve the problem?
All right, Fabrice Lena, Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Sir Babila. It's always a pleasure for me to share my ideas with Cameroonians.
Thanks for staying with us. That's it for today.